Hey everyone! Today I want to share something different from the Chinese teaching videos that I posted before. I want to share my own experience of how I completely 100% recovered from severe depression and anxiety. We all know that depression and anxiety, they usually come together and they can totally deprive us of our happiness. We all want to be happy, but depression and anxiety, especially depression, it will eventually lead to suicide. So in today's video, I want to share my experience of how I got depression. And in my upcoming videos, I want to share my symptoms of depression and anxiety, the treatment that I received, the measures that I took to combat these mental illnesses, and what doesn't work, what works to some extent, and what's the real deal, which completely 100% healed me. And I also want to share what I learned from depression and anxiety and what's my new perspective on life after recovering from them. Like, what's the new me like? And so now I want to talk about how I got into it. I hope this video can help you to prevent this whole thing, whole nightmare, whole disaster from even happening. I remember it was back in primary school at the age of around 11. I moved from Xi'an, which is my hometown, to Shenzhen, which is where I'm living now, as a transfer student. So my classmates, they started laughing at me, giving me all kinds of nicknames such as giraffe, turtle, because my neck was kind of long at that time and I didn't have a really good posture. And they told me that I'm a girl from the countryside, and they told me that I'm ugly, dumb, and not popular at all. So I started doubting myself because back in my hometown in Xi'an, I was spoiled, and I was really welcomed by my classmates and teacher because I was in a very familiar environment. And they told me quite the opposite thing. Like, I am pretty, I'm smart, I'm welcomed. Like that. So I started to think, who's telling the truth? So it was like, it was around 1 month. I was thinking about this for a month. And then eventually I believed the new classmates from Shenzhen. And I started to become self-abased. I started to look down upon myself as well. And I started to have all these kind of negative emotions, and I just kept it to myself. I didn't share it with others. I didn't tell this to anyone, didn't share it with my parents, my teachers, or my old friends from hometown Xi'an. None of them. I just kept it to myself. And eventually, after 3 months, one day I couldn't take it anymore. I got really, really anxious. And I started to have all these kind of negative thoughts and complicated thoughts, intrusive thoughts. I couldn't stop my mind from thinking too much, like going crazy. And soon after that, I became really depressed. I believe I got into severe depression because I started to lose all kind of interest towards life and started to have this kind of suicidal thoughts. Luckily, I didn't take any actions because I told myself this will eventually go, and things will get better. And I just keep holding it until one day I started to have this kind of brain fog. I don't know how you can describe it. It's like you are detached from reality, and you will feel like you're living in a dream. You're so far away from others and you're not functioning 100%. You're like a robot, just living like a robot, like that. So in order to prevent it, I have some suggestions for you. First, your environment is really important. Try to stay away from people with negative energy. Try to be around people who have positive energy. So try to stay away from those who tend to lose their temper, who tends to look down upon others, who have really negative energy, who enjoys making fun of others, who are mentally ill, something like that. And an important thing that I want to mention is that it's actually not your surrounding, not your environment, the people around you who's causing you all this pain. It's actually your ego. So looking back, looking at myself, the school bullying wasn't that severe. I mean, it could not compare with some severe cases of like school bullying or school violence. It was nothing like that. I was not even physically abused. I was just being called some nicknames and that's it. Yeah, but I couldn't take it. It was actually such a small thing, but my ego made it bigger, bigger, and bigger until one day I thought that it was like the whole world and I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, so yeah, it's actually our ego. And school bullying actually happens in a lot of areas. And I believe I was not the only one who suffered from it. If you're bullied at school, don't believe those people. They're just making fun of you. And don't believe those negative comments on them. Be confident yourself. Share it with others. Don't keep it just to yourself because you will keep a lot of negative emotions in your body and then one day it will turn into some severe mental illness. And even for real, whatever they say is true, like you're not that good looking, not smart, not welcome at the moment, don't worry because nothing is consistent. It will eventually change. And think about it, it's actually your ego. For example, if others are being bullied, will you make such a big deal out of it? Will it be such painful and eventually have suicidal thoughts? Something like that. No, you wouldn't. And another important thing that I want to mention is that show respect to others, care about others, put yourself in other people's perspective, treat others how you want to be treated. Sometimes we just want to have some fun, but we have no idea how our little fun can bring such pains to other people's lives. We have no idea. Looking back, I kept asking myself, why the hell this happened to me? Well, with life experience, now I know that it's karma because several years before the bullying happened, I actually bullied others. I did exactly the same thing or even worse to others. I said some abusive words and called other people by their nicknames. Something like that. That time I didn't know how much pain I caused to others. And what's more, when I was a kid around 6 or 7 years old, whenever I see some small bugs like some ants, some cockroaches or some caterpillars, I just step on them because I thought it was fun. I didn't show any love or compassion to those people or beings like weaker than I was. So yeah, I brought so much pain to their lives. And eventually it all came back to me. I was always wondering like where those fear, where are they coming from? They seem to come from nowhere because such a little thing, such little school bullying happened to me and then it made me have all these kind of negative energy, even like non-stop suicidal thoughts. Why? Now I know, and with a lot of life experience and studying, I finally realized that the universe is actually a whole. Yeah, if you want to be happy, you should bring happiness to others and then happiness and positive things will eventually happen to you. That's it. Alright, that's it. In my upcoming video, I'm gonna share my symptom of depression. I actually took some antidepressant and I went to a psychologist. I kept exercising a lot. I started doing meditation and a whole lot of other things. I'm gonna show you what doesn't work, what works to some extent, and what's the real deal, which healed me completely. Alright,